First contact. The galactic surprise. The vast emptiness of space suddenly erupted with a blinding flash of light. Where moments ago there had been nothing but the cold void, now a massive ship materialized, its sleek hull gleaming under the distant starlight. This was the Galactic Alliance's flagship, the Celestial Harmony, on a routine patrol of what they considered to be the outer reaches of civilized space. On the bridge, Captain Zixella of the Thoraxians stood tall, her iridescent exoskeleton reflecting the soft glow of the ship's controls. Her compound eyes scanned the readouts before her, antennae twitching with curiosity. Status report, she chittered to her crew. A Volian officer, a being of pure energy contained within a translucent suit, pulsed with blue light as it responded. All systems nominal, Captain. We've successfully jumped to the coordinates of the uncharted system, as per Galactic Council orders. Zixella nodded, her mandibles clicking softly. Excellent. Begin standard survey procedures. Let's see what secrets this little corner of the galaxy holds. As the crew busied themselves with their tasks, none could have predicted the shock that awaited them. The ship's sensors began to light up, indicating a plethora of artificial signals emanating from the third planet of the system. Captain, exclaimed the Volian officer, its form flickering with excitement. We're detecting signs of advanced civilization on the third planet. But that's impossible. Our records show this system should be uninhabited. Zixella's antennae stood straight up in surprise. Impossible indeed. Bring us closer, but maintain stealth protocols. We don't want to alarm the natives if they're not space-faring yet. As the Celestial Harmony approached the blue-green world, the crew's astonishment only grew. The planet was a swirling mass of blues, greens, and swirling white clouds. But it was what lay beneath those clouds that truly shocked them. By the galactic core, whispered Zixella as she stared at the viewscreen. It's a death world. The planet's surface was a chaotic mix of environments that should have been mutually exclusive. Vast oceans covered most of the surface, with landmasses of various sizes scattered about. But it was the extremes that boggled the mind. Frozen wastelands at the poles gave way to scorching deserts. Lush forests bordered barren mountains, and through it all, evidence of a thriving civilization could be seen. Sprawling cities, networks of transportation, and clear signs of industry. How is this possible? Asked the Volian officer. No single species should be able to survive in such varied and hostile conditions. Zixella's response was cut short by an alert from the communications officer, a synthet, a being of living metal and circuitry. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. It's aimed directly at us. The bridge fell silent. Their stealth technology was supposed to be undetectable. Yet somehow, the inhabitants of this impossible world had not only spotted them but were attempting to communicate. Put it through, ordered Zixella, her voice steady despite her growing unease. The view screen flickered, and a face appeared. The crew collectively gasped. The being looking back at them was unlike anything they had encountered before. It had no exoskeleton, no energy field, no metallic components. Instead, it was covered in a thin layer of fragile-looking skin, with patches of fur on its head. Two forward-facing eyes blinked at them, set above a protruding nasal structure and a mouth full of flat teeth. Greetings, visitors from the stars, the creature said, its mouth moving in sync with the words. We are the humans of Earth, and we welcome you in peace. Zixella felt her legs go weak. Humans. Earth. The names echoed in her mind, dredging up old legends and whispered warnings. But it couldn't be. They were supposed to be just a myth, a cautionary tale told to young cadets about the dangers of the universe. I am Captain Zixella of the Galactic Alliance ship Celestial Harmony, she responded, fighting to keep her voice steady. We come in peace as well. The human's face broke into what the crew would later learn was a smile, but at the moment looked alarmingly like a threat display. Wonderful. We've been waiting a long time for this moment. Perhaps you'd like to send a delegation to discuss things further. We have so many questions, and I'm sure you do too. As Zixela agreed to the meeting, her mind was racing. The Galactic Alliance had protocols for first contact situations, carefully crafted procedures developed over millennia. But nothing in her training had prepared her for this. Humans were real, and they had achieved spaceflight capabilities. The galaxy as they knew it was about to change forever. The delegation was hastily assembled. Along with Zixela, the Volian officer, now identified as Lumina, and a synthete named Circuit 7 were chosen to represent the celestial harmony. As they prepared to teleport to the coordinates provided by the humans, Zixela couldn't shake a feeling of impending doom. They materialized in a large, sterile room. The air was thick and humid, the gravity stronger than they were used to. And there, waiting for them, were 3 humans. "Welcome to Earth," said the one in the center, the same one who had appeared on the view screen. "I'm Dr. Elena Rodriguez, and these are my colleagues, Dr. Quame Osi and Dr. Yuki Tanaka. On behalf of humanity, welcome to our home." As pleasantries were exchanged and initial discussions began, Zixela found herself struggling to concentrate. Her eyes kept darting around the room, taking in the myriad of details that seemed to defy logic. The humans moved with an ease that suggested they were perfectly adapted to this hostile environment. They breathed the dense air without difficulty, stood upright against the heavy gravity, and seemed unaffected by the temperature that Zixela found uncomfortably warm. But it was during a tour of the facility that the true shock came. As they passed by a window overlooking an outdoor area, Zixela saw something that made her kitten crawl. A group of humans were engaged in what appeared to be recreational activities. Some were running at speeds that seemed impossible given the gravity. Others were lifting heavy objects repeatedly, straining their muscles in what could only be described as voluntary torture. "Is everything all right, Captain?" Dr. Rodriguez asked, noticing Zixela's distress. "Those humans," Zixela chittered, her antennae twitching rapidly. "What are they doing? Are they being punished?" Dr. Rodriguez looked out the window and chuckled. "Oh, that's just the staff gym. People exercising, staying fit. It's good for our health." The alien delegation exchanged bewildered looks. The idea of voluntarily stressing one's body for health was utterly foreign to them. As the tour continued, more revelations came. The humans casually mentioned surviving diseases that would have wiped out entire planets in the Alliance. They spoke of adapting to climates ranging from Arctic tundra to scorching deserts. They described exploring the depths of their oceans and the peaks of their mountains, environments so extreme that most species would consider them completely inaccessible. But it was when the topic turned to human history that the true extent of their resilience became clear. Wars that had raged for years, cataclysmic natural disasters, near misses with extinction-level events. Through it all, humanity had not just survived, but thrived. As the first day of contact drew to a close, Zixela found herself back on the celestial harmony, her mind reeling from all she had learned. The humans were unlike anything the Galactic Alliance had encountered before. Their adaptability, their resilience, their sheer determination to survive and expand. It was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. But as she prepared her report for the Galactic Council, a new worry began to gnaw at her. The galaxy had been at peace for millennia, with only minor skirmishes here and there. But now, a species forged in the fires of constant struggle and adaptation was about to join the galactic stage. What would this mean for the future of the Alliance? Little did Zixela know that the galaxy was about to face a threat that would make all previous conflicts pale in comparison. And humanity, the species that had been isolated on their death world for so long, might just be the key to survival for all. As she sent off her report, Zixela looked out at the blue-green planet below. "May the Galactic Core help us all," she whispered. "The humans have arrived." The human factor. Unpredictable allies. The news of humanity's discovery spread through the Galactic Alliance like wildfire. Within days, the celestial harmony had become the center of a growing fleet of alien ships, all eager to catch a glimpse of the legendary humans. The Galactic Council, in an unprecedented move, had convened an emergency session to discuss the implications of this monumental first contact. Meanwhile, on Earth, the human governments were in a frenzy of activity. The revelation that they were not alone in the universe had initially caused panic, but this quickly gave way to excitement and curiosity. Humanity, true to form, was eager to join the galactic community. It was during these hectic days that an even greater threat emerged. Long-range sensors detected a massive fleet of unknown origin approaching the galaxy at incredible speed. The Galactic Council's worst fears were realized. The Void Swarm, a nightmarish horde of planet-consuming entities, had set its sights on their corner of the universe. In the council chambers, heated debates raged. Some argued for abandoning the outer systems and fortifying their core worlds. Others pushed for a preemptive strike. It was Zixella, invited to speak due to her first-hand experience with humans, who proposed a radical idea. "We should invite the humans to join our alliance," she chittered, her words causing a hush to fall over the chamber. Their adaptability and resilience could be the key to our survival. The reaction was immediate and divided. Many counselors balked at the idea of bringing such an unpredictable species into their carefully balanced alliance. Others, however, saw the potential in Zixella's suggestion. After days of debate, a decision was reached. Humanity would be invited to join the fight against the Void Swarm, but under strict supervision. A joint task force would be formed, with human ships integrated into the Alliance fleet. On Earth, the response to this invitation was overwhelmingly positive. Humanity, despite its internal divisions, united in the face of this existential threat. Within weeks, Earth's most advanced ships were retrofitted with Alliance technology and joined the growing defense fleet. It was on the Alliance flagship, the Stellar Aegis, that the first real interactions between humans and the various alien species began. Captain Elena Rodriguez, the same scientist who had first greeted Zixella on Earth, now found herself as humanity's representative among the stars. The cultural clashes began almost immediately. The Alliance races, used to careful deliberation and consensus building, were taken aback by the humans' propensity for quick decision-making and risk-taking. During strategy meetings, human suggestions often left their alien counterparts stunned. "You want to do what?" exclaimed Lumina, the Volian officer, its energy form flickering with alarm. "Deliberately lure a portion of the Void Swarm into a star system and then collapse the star. That's insane." Elena shrugged, a gesture that still unnerved many of the aliens. "High risk, high reward. If it works, we could take out a significant portion of their fleet in one blow." Such exchanges became common, with the humans constantly pushing the boundaries of what the Alliance considered acceptable strategy. But as alarming as their ideas were, the aliens couldn't deny their effectiveness. In simulation after simulation, the human strategies, while risky, showed promising results. It wasn't just in military matters that humans proved unpredictable. Their ability to adapt to the various environments on the Alliance ships amazed their new allies. While most species required specific atmospheric conditions, humans seemed to thrive in a wide range of settings. They ate foods that would be toxic to other races, endured gravity fluctuations with ease, and even found ways to exercise in xerog environments. This adaptability, however, also led to misunderstandings. During a routine maintenance check, a human engineer named Alex Chen horrified his synthid colleagues by manually adjusting a plasma conduit with his bare hands. But the heat, the radiation, stuttered Circuit 7, its metallic form vibrating with concern. Alex grinned, holding up his hands, which were protected by a thin layer of specially designed gloves. "No worries, mate. We've developed materials that can handle this kind of stuff. Besides, sometimes you need the direct touch to really feel what's wrong, you know." The synthid didn't know, but it was beginning to understand that with humans, expecting the unexpected was becoming the norm. As the combined fleet journeyed towards the outer reaches of the galaxy to confront the Void Swarm, these interactions continued. Humans found themselves fascinated by the diverse alien cultures, eagerly learning about their new allies. In turn, many of the Alliance races began to see the humans in a new light, recognizing the potential benefits of their unique perspective. However, not all interactions were positive. Some Alliance members remained deeply suspicious of the humans, viewing their unpredictability as a potential threat. Rumors began to circulate about humanity's violent past, with some questioning the wisdom of arming such a volatile species with advanced galactic technology. These tensions came to a head during a skirmish with a Void Swarm scout ship. The Alliance fleet had it cornered, but disagreements over how to proceed led to hesitation. In the midst of this indecision, a human ship, the HSS Dauntless, broke formation and engaged the enemy directly. What followed was a display of combat prowess that left the Alliance observers in awe. The Dauntless ducked and weaved through enemy fire with a precision that seemed impossible for its size. Its counterattacks were relentless and unpredictable, keeping the Void Scout off balance. In the end, the Dauntless emerged victorious, but not unscathed. As Alliance rescue ships rushed to assist, they were shocked to find the human crew already hard at work repairing their vessel, seemingly unfazed by their injuries or the lingering danger. Standard operating procedure, explained the Dauntless's captain when questioned about their reckless attack. We saw an opportunity and we took it. In battle, hesitation kills. This incident sparked intense debate within the Alliance leadership. The humans' effectiveness in combat was undeniable, but their disregard for carefully laid plans and their willingness to take extreme risks alarmed many. Zixella found herself once again defending the humans before the council. Yes, they're unpredictable, she argued, but that's exactly why we need them. The Void Swarm has never encountered a species like humanity. Their unpredictability could be our greatest weapon. As the fleet drew ever closer to its confrontation with the main body of the Void Swarm, the Alliance races found themselves at a crossroads. The humans had proven their worth in battle, but their methods and mindset remained alien and frightening to many. Elena Rodriguez, watching the stars streak by from the observation deck of the stellar Aegis, felt the weight of this tension. Humanity had dreamed of joining a galactic community for centuries, but now that they were here, she wondered if they would ever truly fit in. Little did she know that the true test was yet to come. The Void Swarm loomed ahead, a threat unlike anything humanity or the Alliance had ever faced. In the crucible of this coming battle, the true nature of humanity would be revealed, for better or for worse. As the alarms blared, signaling the fleet to battle stations, Elena took a deep breath. Well, she muttered to herself, time to show the galaxy what humans are really made of. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the entire galaxy. And at the heart of it all was the unpredictable, adaptable, resilient species from a little blue planet called Earth. Battle of Proxima. Humanity unleashed. The combined fleet of the Galactic Alliance and Earth emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima system, the last line of defense before the Void Swarm would reach the more densely populated regions of the galaxy. The sight that greeted them was nothing short of terrifying. The Void Swarm stretched as far as the eye could see, a writhing mass of biomechanical horrors that defied description. Each unit of the swarm was the size of a small moon, bristling with organic weaponry and shrouded in an aura of pure darkness that seemed to devour light itself. On the bridge of the stellar Aegis, Alliance Admiral Zycon of the crystalline Lumine race stood rigid, his faceted body reflecting the ominous scene before them. By the cord, he whispered, there are more of them than we anticipated. Beside him, Elena Rodriguez, now serving as the human liaison to the Allied command, studied the tactical display with narrowed eyes. Numbers aren't everything, Admiral, she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. We've got a few tricks up our sleeves. Admiral Zycon turned to her. light refracting through his body in patterns that denoted concern. "I hope you're right, Captain Rodriguez. The fate of the galaxy rests on this battle." As the Allied fleet moved into formation, the human ships took up positions that at first seemed random and disorganized to their alien counterparts. But as the Void Swarm surged forward to meet them, the method in their apparent madness began to reveal itself. The battle erupted in a cacophony of energy weapons, missile barrages, and the unsettling psychic shrieks of the Void creatures. The Alliance ships fought with precision and coordination honed over centuries of peace, each race contributing its unique strengths to the fight. But it was the humans who truly shocked both allies and enemies alike. The HSS Dauntless, which had distinguished itself in the earlier skirmish, suddenly accelerated to speeds that should have torn it apart. It weaved through the swarm's attacks with impossible agility, its hull glowing red-hot from the stress. "What are they doing?" cried Lumina, the Volian officer, its energy form pulsing with alarm. "They'll burn up their engines at that speed." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Watch," she said simply. The Dauntless plunged deep into the heart of the nearest swarm unit. For a moment, it seemed the ship had been swallowed by the darkness. Then suddenly, the Void creature erupted from within, torn apart by a series of internal explosions. The Dauntless emerged from the other side, scorched and battered but still intact. Its captain's voice crackled over the comms. "Biomechanical EMP deployed successfully. Their internal systems are vulnerable to localized electromagnetic pulses. All ships adjust tactics accordingly." This revelation turned the tide of the battle. Human ships began darting in and out of the swarm's formations, delivering devastating blows from within. The Alliance ships, quickly adapting to this new strategy, provided cover fire and shielding for these daring assaults. But the Void Swarm was not so easily defeated. As if sensing the threat posed by the human ships, it began to focus its attacks on them with terrifying intensity. Several human vessels were lost, overwhelmed by the sheer firepower directed at them. In the midst of this chaos, Elena's attention was drawn to a massive void creature approaching the stellar aegis. It was easily twice the size of the others, its surface rippling with malevolent energy. "That must be their command unit," she realized aloud. "If we can take it out, we might be able to disrupt the entire swarm." Admiral Zykon's crystalline form vibrated with tension. "It's too heavily defended. None of our ships could get close enough to." He trailed off as he saw the look in Elena's eyes. "Captain Rodriguez, what are you thinking?" Elena was already moving towards the teleporter pad. "Something crazy," she replied. "But it just might work. Have your teams ready to beam me back in exactly 10 minutes. Before anyone could stop her, Elena had teleported aboard the nearest human ship, the HSS Defiant. She quickly made her way to the bridge, where she found Captain Ahmed Hassan struggling to keep his ship intact under heavy fire. "Captain Hassan," she said breathlessly, "I need your help for a suicide mission that might just win us this battle." Hassan looked at her for a long moment, then broke into a fierce grin. "Well, why didn't you say so earlier? What's the plan?" Elena quickly outlined her idea. It was audacious, borderline insane, and relied on split-second timing. In other words, it was perfectly suited for human execution. The HSS Defiant broke away from the main battle, streaking towards the massive command unit of the Void Swarm. As they approached, the ship began to break apart, panels of its hull deliberately jettisoned to reveal a pulsing core of energy. "What are they doing?" gasped an Alliance officer on the stellar aegis. "They're exposing their reactor." Zixella, who had been observing the battle, felt her antennae quiver with sudden understanding. "No," she chittered, "they're turning their entire ship into a weapon." The Defiant, now little more than a skeleton surrounding its overtaxed reactor, plunged into the heart of the Void Command Unit. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a flash that momentarily outshone the system's star, both ships exploded. The shockwave rippled through the Void Swarm, causing the creatures to writhe in apparent agony. Their coordinated attacks faltered, becoming erratic and unfocused. In that moment of confusion, Alina's voice came over the comms from the stellar Aegis. She had been beamed back seconds before the Defiant's sacrifice. All ships, press the attack. Hit them with everything you've got. The Allied fleet surged forward, taking full advantage of the swarm's disarray. Human ships continued their daring internal attacks, while the Alliance vessels unleashed barrages of firepower that would have annihilated lesser foes. Slowly but surely, the tide of battle turned. One by one, the void creatures fell, their darkness extinguished by the combined might of the Galactic Alliance and human ingenuity. As the last of the swarm disintegrated under a final barrage, a stunned silence fell over the Allied fleet. They had done it. They had faced the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known, and they had emerged victorious. On the bridge of the stellar Aegis, Alina stood beside Admiral Zycon, both of them battered and exhausted but alive. The Admiral turned to her, his crystalline form shimmering with an emotion Alina couldn't quite identify. "In all my centuries," Zycon said slowly, "I have never seen anything like what your people did today. The galaxy owes humanity a debt it can never repay." Alina managed a tired smile. "We're just glad we could help. It's what humans do. We face the impossible, and we find a way to make it possible." As the fleet began the long journey home, the true impact of what had occurred began to sink in. Humanity had not just participated in this battle, they had been instrumental in winning it. Their unconventional tactics, their willingness to sacrifice everything for victory, their sheer adaptability in the face of overwhelming odds, all of it had proven critical in defeating the Void Swarm. But with this victory came new questions and concerns. The galaxy had seen what humans were capable of when unleashed. The same traits that had made them such effective allies against the Void Swarm now caused many in the Alliance to view them with a mixture of awe and fear. As reports of the battle spread throughout the galaxy, one question echoed through the halls of power on countless worlds. Now that humanity had been unleashed upon the galactic stage, what would this mean for the future of the Alliance and the galaxy as a whole? The Battle of Proxima was over, but the repercussions of humanity's debut on the galactic stage were only beginning to unfold. The Galactic Council's dilemma. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council on Centaur Prime was abuzz with tension. Representatives from every corner of the Alliance had gathered for what promised to be one of the most contentious meetings in recent memory. The subject of debate: humanity's place in the galactic community following their pivotal role in the Battle of Proxima. High Counselor Tarlath, a being of pure thought encased in a hovering orb of shimmering energy, called the session to order. Esteemed colleagues, their telepathic voice resonated through the minds of all present. We face a decision that will shape the future of our alliance. The humans have proven themselves to be powerful allies, but their methods and very nature pose questions we cannot ignore. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of voices, each species expressing their views through their unique forms of communication. Some praised the humans' bravery and effectiveness, while others voiced concerns about their unpredictability and potential for violence. Ambassador Zixela, who had been promoted following her role in First Contact, stepped forward to address the council. "I have worked closely with the humans since our first encounter," she chittered, her antennae twitching with emotion. "Yes, they are different from us in many ways, but their adaptability and determination are exactly what our alliance needs in these uncertain times." Her words were met with a mix of approving clicks and skeptical murmurs. Then, a deep, rumbling voice cut through the noise. It belonged to War Master Krogath of the Ursai, a race of massive, Ursine warriors known for their martial prowess. "Different," Krogath growled, his scared muzzle twisting into a snarl. "They are dangerous. You all saw what they did at Proxima. Their disregard for their own lives, their willingness to use tactics we would consider unconscionable. How long before they turned such methods against us?" The chamber fell silent as an elderly Lumine stepped forward, his crystalline body dim with age, but still commanding respect. This was Archsage Lyran, one of the oldest and wisest beings in the Alliance. Perhaps, Zyron began, his voice a soft chime, we should remind ourselves why humans were excluded from galactic affairs in the first place. It is time to revisit the Earthfall incident. A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. The Earthfall incident was a closely guarded secret, known only to the highest echelons of Alliance leadership. Zyron's form flickered, projecting images into the minds of all present. They saw a younger galaxy, a time when the Alliance was still exploring the far reaches of space. They witnessed the first Alliance scout ships approaching Earth, tens of thousands of years ago. We thought we had found another primitive world to study and possibly guide towards enlightenment, Zyron narrated. We were wrong. The images shifted, showing scenes of shocking violence. Alliance observers watched in horror as humans waged war against each other with savage intensity. They saw nuclear fires bloom across continents, entire civilizations rise and fall in the blink of a cosmic eye. We realized that humans were unique, Zyron continued. Their planet, which we now know they call a death world, had forged them into survivors unlike any we had ever encountered. They thrived on conflict, adapted to overcome any obstacle. We feared what might happen if such a species were to gain access to advanced technology. The final images showed the Alliance Council of that era making the decision to isolate Earth, to prevent humanity from reaching the stars until they had, hopefully, evolved beyond their violent nature. As the projection faded, the chamber remained silent, each being grappling with the implications of what they had seen. High Counselor Axar-Lath's orb pulsed gently. And now, despite our efforts, humanity has joined us among the stars. The question remains, what shall we do? The debate that followed was intense. Some argued for limiting human involvement in Alliance affairs, keeping them at arm's length. Others pushed for full integration, believing that humanity's strengths outweighed the potential risks. As the arguments raged on, a new voice entered the fray. Elena Rodriguez, invited to represent Earth's interests, stepped up to address the Council. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, she began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. I stand before you not just as a representative of Earth, but as someone who has fought alongside many of you. I've seen the strength of our alliance, the beauty of our diversity, but I've also seen its vulnerabilities. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the assembled aliens. Yes, humanity has a violent past. Yes, we can be unpredictable and even dangerous. But those same traits allowed us to think outside the box and find a way to defeat the Void Swarm when conventional tactics failed. Elena's voice grew more passionate. We don't ask you to ignore the potential risks we pose. We ask you to work with us, to help us channel our strengths for the good of the galaxy. Humanity has dreamed of the stars for millennia. Now that we're here, we want nothing more than to be part of this grand tapestry of galactic civilization. Her words seemed to resonate with many in the chamber, but doubts still lingered. The debate continued, with impassioned arguments on all sides. As the session stretched on, it became clear that there would be no easy resolution. The integration of humanity into the Galactic Alliance would be a complex, ongoing process fraught with challenges. In the end, a compromise was reached. Humanity would be granted provisional membership in the Alliance, with certain restrictions on their access to the most advanced technologies. A committee would be formed to oversee human integration and address any issues that arose. As the council session adjourned, Elena found herself surrounded by a mix of curious and wary alien diplomats. She knew that the real work was just beginning. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, but keeping that place would require all of their legendary adaptability and determination. Outside the council chambers, the news of the decision spread rapidly across the galaxy. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes looked to the skies with a mixture of hope and trepidation. The humans had arrived on the galactic stage, and for better or worse, the universe would never be the same. Humanity's redemption, architects of victory. The years following the Galactic Council's decision to grant humanity provisional membership in the Alliance were marked by both triumphs and tensions. Humans, true to their nature, threw themselves into their new role with characteristic enthusiasm and creativity. Their ships ventured to the farthest reaches of Alliance space. Their scientists collaborated with alien counterparts on groundbreaking research, and their diplomats worked tirelessly to build bridges between Earth and countless alien cultures. Yet, suspicion lingered. Every human achievement was scrutinized, every misstep magnified. The galaxy watched and waited, wondering if the species from the Death World would prove to be saviors or conquerors. It was against this backdrop of uneasy cooperation that a new threat emerged, one that would put the entire Alliance, and humanity's place within it, to the ultimate test. The first signs were subtle: garbled transmissions from the outer colonies, strange energy readings on the fringes of known space. But soon, the terrible truth became clear. The Void Swarm had not been defeated at Proxima, merely delayed. And now it had returned, larger and more voracious than ever. In the 5 years since the Battle of Proxima, the Swarm had adapted, evolving defenses against the tactics that had previously proved successful. As reports of entire systems going dark reached the Alliance, panic began to spread. On Earth, now home to a bustling spaceport and a thriving community of alien diplomats and scientists, Elena Rodriguez found herself once again at the center of a galactic crisis. Now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Alliance, she was summoned to an emergency session of the Galactic Council. The council chamber was a maelstrom of fear and accusations. Some blamed humanity for not finishing off the swarm at Proxima, while others argued that without humans, they wouldn't have survived the first encounter at all. As the debate raged, Elena stepped forward, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Esteemed colleagues, this is not the time for blame or fear. The Void Swarm threatens all of us equally. If we're to survive, we must stand united." Her words seemed to calm the storm, if only momentarily. High Counselor Tarlath's orb pulsed in acknowledgement. Ambassador Rodriguez speaks wisely. But the question remains: how can we hope to defeat an enemy that has already adapted to our best strategies? A heavy silence fell over the chamber. It was broken by an unexpected voice, that of Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the brilliant human physicist who had been working on teleportation technology with a team of Volian scientists. "What if," Yuki began, her voice trembling slightly with a mix of excitement and trepidation, "we could turn the Void's greatest strength against it?" All eyes turned to the small human woman as she explained her radical plan. The Void Swarm's power came from its ability to consume energy and matter, growing stronger with each world it devoured. But what if they could overload that ability? "We've been working on a way to teleport energy directly," Yuki continued. "If we could deliver a massive surge of power directly into the heart of the swarm, we might be able to trigger a chain reaction that would tear it apart from the inside." The idea was met with a mix of hope and skepticism. It was incredibly risky, requiring a level of precision in teleportation that had never been achieved before. And the amount of energy needed was staggering. It would require the combined output of multiple star systems. But as the council debated, reports continued to pour in of Void Swarm advances. Time was running out. In the end, it was War Master Krogath, once one of humanity's staunchest critics, who tipped the balance. "I've seen humans pull off the impossible before," he growled. "If they believe they can do this, I say we give them the chance. Better to go down fighting than to be consumed by the void." With the decision made, the Alliance threw all its resources into the plan. Vast energy collectors were constructed around stars, while human and alien scientists worked around the clock to perfect the teleportation technology. As the day of reckoning approached, Elena found herself aboard the HSS Unity, a massive ship that housed the teleportation device. Alongside her were representatives from every Alliance race, a symbol of the galaxy's united stand against extinction. The Void Swarm loomed before them, a writhing mass of darkness that seemed to devour the very stars. As the Unity moved into position, Alina felt the weight of countless lives resting on their shoulders. "Energy levels at maximum," reported Dr. Tanaka, her fingers dancing over the controls. "Teleportation matrix aligned. We're ready." Alina took a deep breath, exchanging glances with her alien colleagues. In that moment, all the differences between their species seemed to fade away. They were united in their determination to survive, to ensure a future for all sentient life. "Initiate the sequence," Alina commanded. What followed was a display of power unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. A beam of pure energy, harvested from the hearts of stars, lanced out from the Unity. It struck the void swarm dead center, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a supernova in slow motion, the swarm began to expand. Cracks of blinding light appeared across its surface, growing larger and more numerous by the second. The void creatures screamed in a frequency that shattered sensors and sent psychic shockwaves across space. And then, in a final cataclysmic explosion, the void swarm tore itself apart. The release of energy was so intense that for a brief moment, it outshone every star in the galaxy. As the light faded and sensors came back online, a stunned silence fell over the Unity's bridge. Slowly, impossibly, the truth sank in. They had done it. The void swarm was gone. Cheers erupted across the ship, across the fleet, across every world that had waited in terrified suspense. Beings of every species embraced, their differences forgotten in the joy of survival. In the days that followed, as the galaxy began to rebuild, humanity's place in the Alliance was no longer a subject of debate. They had proved themselves not just as warriors, but as innovators, risk-takers, and ultimately, saviors. Alina Rodriguez, standing before the Galactic Council one last time, summed up the feelings of many. "We came to the stars carrying the weight of our violent past. But we also brought with us the creativity, the determination, and the hope that have defined the best of humanity throughout our history. Today, we've shown that those qualities, combined with the wisdom and strength of our alien friends, can overcome any obstacle." As she spoke, Alina couldn't help but smile at how far they had come. From being excluded from galactic affairs to becoming key players in the Alliance's greatest victory, humanity had indeed found its redemption among the stars. The galaxy faced an uncertain future, with new challenges and opportunities on the horizon. But one thing was clear: whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, a united alliance of diverse species, each contributing their unique strengths to the tapestry of galactic civilization. As the council session ended and beings from 100 worlds filed out, chattering excitedly about the future, Alina caught sight of Ambassador Zixella. The Thoraxian's antennae twitched in what Alina had come to recognize as a smile. "Well, my friend," Zixella chittered, "it seems the galaxy is in for quite an adventure with humanity along for the ride." Alina laughed, a sound of pure joy and relief. "Oh, Ambassador," she replied, her eyes twinkling with the light of distant stars. "You haven't seen anything yet." And as they walked together into the bright galactic dawn, both knew that the greatest chapters of their shared story were yet to be written.